Nuclear missile ready. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another day of Team League Destruction. The Afrika TV edition, of course. We're gonna have an amazing couple of series against once more. If we were to believe the previous time we saw these players play, or any time before then, I'm pretty stoked. Honestly, again, incredibly stacked lineup. Of course, we're already in the semis here. The semi-finals for the entire event only today, and then next Sunday still remaining for this tournament, and then we're already, you know, seeing who is victorious overall, which team has come out on top. Of course, right now we still have the Steamed Bun Bang. Am I saying that right? I think so. The Steamed Bun Bang, which consists out of Rogue, Innovation, and True. And then the Boost and Guy 2 crew. Without the crew, I just added that one because it sounded nice. Sue, Fantasy, and Tongray Goo. As we saw, Fantasy previous round, I don't know if you know, didn't want to have any spoilers for last time around. You came to the wrong place, but anyway. Fantasy having a beautiful 4-0 victory over a lot of Zerg opponents and kicking Burn Park out of the tournament. Dark actually being beaten twice by Mr. Fantasy himself, of course. He did do a little bit of a cheesy Rexy proxy, or proxy Rexy here and there, but overall, doing absolutely fantastic there. Here we go. There is the screens actually that we might want to have to take a look at. There is, as we can see, the people who already got all kills, the people who didn't, and let's see, where is Fantasy? Okay, I think Fantasy is on the right there, isn't he? Is he? I don't even know. I mean, he should have an all kill. Where's the Terran with the all kill? I only see him on number 12. It could be him. That could be him. If only we knew Korean at this time, as again, I still haven't learned it. Not yet. Anyway, but yeah, here we have all the players lined up. As you can see, well, if you do know Korean, this is your lucky day because you're the one person who does understand this. This we all understand though. There's nice pictures involved and you know, English character names there as well. Rogue, Innovation, and True versus Sue, Fantasy, and DRG. DRG, of course. A very, very skilled ZVZ player so far, as we've seen in this tournament. He's probably really good at the other matchups too, but you know what? His ZVZ absolutely blew me away a couple of times, so I'm just going to keep on hammering about that. And Rogue, Innovation, True, I mean, this is a good opportunity for them to showcase. Honestly, Innovation and Rogue, they definitely might be the scariest opponents here for the Busan Guy 2 guys. But then again, they do still have Sue and Fantasy as well. And then DRG potentially also to take on Rogue in that CVZ matchup. Anyway, here's the schedule. On the 10th is what we are at today, of course. The semis for the deciding match who gets to play against the Jina Yo team next week, around on Sunday as well. Next Sunday, of course, I do want to remind you all, we will be starting a lot earlier than we are starting today. Next Sunday, we will be starting, I believe, let me actually calculate this a little bit. I think it's like 6 hours before that we are actually doing this, so that will be 5 AM for me. I'll still be here, of course. It won't be as bright and shiny as it is right now, but you know what, we'll get to watch the sunrise together that way. And have a lovely time while we're watching some StarCraft as well. Alright. So we are going to be waiting for these players to have everything set up. For the Korean casters to have, you know, set their spiel. Have a little bit of airtime here as well. Of course, we don't want to, you know, have them make those suits for nothing. They need to be on screen there for at least 20 minutes, in my opinion. To truly validate their them coming out to the studio. I just roll out of bed. I put on a semi-alright shirt. Alright, never mind. They don't care. They don't care about the Korean casters. They deserve so much more, but oh well. Oh well. In the bottom right side of the map, the first player to be sent out is, in fact, the Blue Zerg True. Fighting for the what's it called? The Steamed Bang. And his opponent, Su, actually, for the Busengai 2 crew. In the top left here, the red Zerg. So we're starting off with a ZVZ, meaning we still have both Terrans in the pocket for later on. I don't blame the Busengai 2 guys for leaving both Fantasy and Dongraigu behind, because you know what? You may very well want to keep those guys just when you're sure that they won't be facing Innovation again. But then again, Su, maybe you want to keep Su around in case he has to fight Innovation. Although Fantasy is TVT, I haven't really seen it a lot recently, but you know what? I'm feeling pretty confident in that one too. Just this overall decision making, positioning, it was absolutely out of this planet, of this world. It made me feel very alienated, for I've never felt that bad at StarCraft 2 in my entire life after seeing those games. Anyway, alright. So both players kind of going for pretty much the same thing exactly here. Hatcheries into spawning pools with the gas in between. Look at those fancy little drone skins actually having saw blades as hands. Versus the drones that don't have saw blades as hands. So already a little bit of cultural tension here between these two Zerg tribes. For, you know what, they nitpick at every little difference. These two Zerg groups. Of course, you could say as well that they have different hive minds, but it truly comes down to the hands of those drones. Anyway, Queen's coming out as well. Everything looking very normal right now. True, not yet sending out his drone to make that third base, but he's completely aware that Su is, so you know what, actually now he is as well. There we go. Feeling comfortable to do so himself as well. A little bit more reactive instead of proactive, which is fine as well. Su taking a slight bit of the initiative, maybe feeling a little bit more comfortable. And yeah, there's his first two links. You might be able to get that first kill. Ooh, nice micro from both of these players. Just in the nick of time, sending those links away again. And true, very, very aggressive with that first link here. Still chasing. Alright, now he gives up. After it started to regenerate, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to hit it twice now. That's probably not gonna happen. If I can't hit it once, then hitting it twice might be difficult. Two Baneling Nests on the way, link speed also at the same time, finishing up here. And we'll have to keep an eye out on that production tab, of course, which is the biggest part here. There are a couple of links, a couple of Banelings, everything in production. Of course, the ZVZ for the Koreans is very, very aggressive overall. Everybody loves to do a little bit of Baneling early on game. Not a lot of people go for the quicker Roach defenses. A small attempt to try and grab some Banelings there on top of his, well, singular Zerglings he's sending out. But unfortunately for him, not being able to do anything there yet. Rotating around, needs to be careful at this ramp. Ramp areas, the most dangerous areas in the entire game, of course. Especially when it comes down to Zergling Baneling. My dear lord. The amount of times we've seen just a single Baneling kill off so many links just because of them trying to walk up a ramp. Without paying too much attention. It's pretty much finished off games all on its own already a couple of times. Both these players, of course, too good to let anything like that happen. It happened too many times to them. And they're traumatized, basically, so... Even before they get close to the ramp, already they have this internal warning signal like, oh my dear lord, it's happening again. Or it's possibly happening again. Quickly pulling everything away, of course. A nice rotating around with these Banelings and the links. Wouldn't be opposed to having some of these links split up a little bit. Maybe one at the bottom, one at the ramped area there. Just in case. But it looks like everything is going alright. I mean, he still has all the Overlords scouting out there as well. He's not as slow as me, of course, so... perfectly capable of just keeping an eye out on that mini-map. Fourth bases for both players, also around the same time. One big difference is here that we do see the spy attack coming out for Su, as we're not seeing it coming out for True. True, on the other hand, is going to get himself a couple of more roaches, I guess, but also the +1 range attack for Su a lot earlier here than True. True, his expansion is quicker, but overall I'm not completely sure if that is going to be the biggest of deal in this situation. Seeing the roach numbers here, is Su completely aware of what is kind of going on here. As True is going to see this for, well, fourth base as well, if he hasn't already. Nice quick +2 ranged weapons coming for the roaches now as well. That's a lot of roaches in production actually for True. True might be looking to do a little bit of pressure here. The roaches though might be caught off guard with the Spire switch here. Although I'm not sure if Su actually wants to start investing into the Mutalisk. It might actually make life kind of difficult for him with this amount of roaches that could possibly start marching across the map here. We're just really seeing roaches and lynx coming out now for True, as Su is grabbing himself those Mutalisk, which could potentially backfire a little bit here. Of course, roaches and ravages, I know they can't hit air units, but overall, if you just absolutely demolish the ground forces that quickly, the Mutalisk don't do enough damage really to stop the roaches and ravages from just killing you outright. Okay, this is nice, the Mutalisk in position here, starting to target down the ravages. First of all, those are the more important units here. Big concave, there we go, nice big area for Su to start shooting at, keeping him on the ramp for as long as possible, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough here for Su. That's still a lot of roaches. Oh, does he have enough? There's some roaches on the top as well, being blocked by that queen. I'm not sure if that is the the best thing, but you know what? Actually, a couple more biles being dodged there by the Mutalisk, just barely keeping them alive. Let's see how much damage True can actually do. There's more lynx on the way. They're just scurrying around on the map here. There's no banelings available for Su. There are still quite a couple of roaches actually. Su not really taking any drone damage here. Absolutely amazing hold so far, as lynx are trying their best. Oh well, never mind, actually that's a couple of drones that did go down there, I guess. I guess it's one, unless we don't have game hearts available, but we do, because I can see it on the right side there, due to that upgrade. There it is. Okay, now getting 2 kills. Wow, honestly, that was such a good defense. I actually thought Gameheart was just not here, and it wasn't showing the drone kills. Anyway, so absolutely amazing job here by Su, and immediately on the counter offensive, killing off the 4th base here before True really gets to react. Actually, maybe a little bit slow on the pulling the roaches and the queens onto the low ground towards that base. Of course, having his base in the middle of the map more so situated, it helped out a little bit with his offensive, right? Roaches reinforce his push a little bit quicker, but with the base on the top, maybe it would have been easier for him to use his forces defensively. Instead of having to move down on that ramp towards the forces of Su, he would have been able to just kind of position himself in between those 2 ramps towards that base. And it's still easier, of course, for him to go down that ramp if he does get pressured from that area, because there's not a big rock in the way. So both of these players now going for the Mutalisks actually. Su realizing this is the case, going for air upgrades. 15 Mutalisk versus 12. This should go into favor for Su. And True, well, I'm not sure if he completely realizes this. He probably does, right? He knows that he was delayed with his own Mutalisks here quite a bit. So he should definitely know that he is disadvantaged in the Mutalisk numbers. And Su now with that dominating economy as well, just being able to create so much more right now. I'm not sure if it's a good idea for True to really stick on the same kind of technology as Su is right here. Feels like he definitely has to make a move in another area of, well, of war. He needs to try and either get some infestors or lurkers or anything really to help out with this situation. Either that or he's gonna need the biggest defender's advantage in the world. He's doing really well with the Mutalisk actually, transfusing them very heavily, trying to keep them upright in this battle with the Muta versus Muta, so he doesn't just snowball out of his control. Kind of staying in there, not taking any losses at that time. But of course, Su not done yet, still rotating around with those Mutalisks, coming in for another round and killing off a couple of Droats. And now with these Mutalisks being a little bit too far from the Queens right now, waiting for the Queens to arrive as well. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Su definitely in the driver's seat. As we said, definitely would very much appreciate True to try and get some sort of technology here that will help him to get another foothold in this game. But right now, attempting a counter-attack, but completely thwarted by Su with his roaches at the middle area of the bases here. And the Mutalisks as well, intercepting that force, so just kind of donating 3 units now. Maybe gets a queen here, potentially. I'm not sure what happened to that queen. It probably died, but Molten Lynx for Su did just got birthed, so maybe he did manage to save that. Anyway, it's not that of big importance. We saw that there was another queen right then and there. Su attempting another big attack here. This time he is going to try to go up the ramp, so a very nice concave here for True, which Su really couldn't beat at that time. He's still with 11 Mutalisks ahead though. So really, True cannot leave his base ever right now, and it's going to be incredibly difficult for him to grab that 5th base, which Su already has. He's happily mining from 2 extra geysers now. Even having enough Mutalisks to fight Spore Crawlers, that's never a good sign if you're the opposing Zerg losing your Spore Crawlers. That means it's going to be extreme panic mode from now on for True. He needs to start dealing with these Mutalisks somehow, some way, but he just doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't, and, well, fighting now, committing to this, that is going to be it. After losing these Mutalisks, he will not have anything. GG is called, and Su taking the first game there. Very well done. Going for a 1-0 lead. Su kicking him, well, True out of this one for now. Of course, as we saw, it was already for a long time very, very tricky situation for True there. For the longest period of time, he was just behind and he wasn't really making any moves to try and get his, well, foot back into the game. He wasn't really transitioning or... yeah, I guess he couldn't really make bases, right? He tried to do some counterattacks here and there, trying to get run-bys, but the run-by he did try to do did go through the middle of the map as well. So just completely running into the full forces of Su there head-on, which probably not the best way to get a run-by going. But yeah, that may have been one of the ways he could have made a comeback happen as well, using his forces to go from all the sides around and then just keep hitting the economy of Su, keeping him on his side of the map, and maybe that way he would have been able to grab himself another base, but Su just too good, sniffing out those forces before they ever arrived, and being so proactive with his Mutalisks as well. We have to remember that makes it very, very difficult for you if you are being pressured that much by Mutalisk to ever march across the map here, because you're just so incredibly busy having all your queens and all your Mutalisks together, trying to deal with that pressure. Alright, oh my dear lord, alright, this team Bun Bang is sending out the big guns right now. Here he is, Mr. Rogue himself. One of the best Zergs ever, versus another one of the best Zergs ever. Another ZVZ, but, well, after this one, I'm not sure what will happen actually. We might still see Dong Raigu make an appearance as well, if Rogue does beat Su. I would imagine them sending Dong Raigu after Su if Rogue does beat him. Otherwise, you know what? You know, I think they're going to do that anyway, regardless of what's going to happen here. So Su fighting for the pride and honor of Busengai 2. I think Busengai 2 may be the team that got the most amount of all kills altogether, because I know that Su got 2 of them. Now Fantasy got another one. So, you know, it's likely. It's likely. I might be wrong there. Don't quote me on it. I missed a couple of days, so I didn't really... Which I didn't get to cast, so I'm not completely in the know. Unfortunately, but... They definitely managed to do it quite a couple of times. And I would be very, very much surprised if they managed to do it here again one more time with the power of Su. Although, you know what? It's a solid start getting a single win on the board, of course. Regardless if it's gonna evolve into an all-kill or not. A very quick third base for Rogue, actually. Especially for the ZVZ matchup. But then again, we are on Thunderbird, so perhaps that is the reasoning. It's gonna take a long time for Su to figure this out as well, with those overloads just flying across the map here. Rogue taking a little bit of a gamble, I guess, overall. If he was gonna get Zergling pressured early on, that could have definitely backfired here for him, but so far Su just playing the regular greed, and Rogue going for just a little smidge of extra greed on top of that. And that's always where you want to be as a StarCraft player, just a little bit more greedy than your opponent. Gain those slight upper hands that way. There he is. Okay, Su now realizing that that third base has been planted down for quite a while already. And a lot of links now in production for Rogue, actually. Twice as many as there are for Su, in fact. And neither of them have yet got their Baneling Nest, so... Su does have the gas. He's still mining gas as well, so I wouldn't be surprised for him to throw it down rather at any time here. And now also ramping up on that Zergling production. Both of these players going for quite a couple of links actually, and pulling them up in their own base so they don't get scouted out that early on. This is kind of interesting. Both of these players kind of doing the same thing, but Su pulling the trigger first of all. He's gonna run across the map with these links, and that's gonna give Rogue the first update about these Zergling numbers of his opponent. He sees that he has more, so he's coming out to meet him. Wait, what? He's... Alright, he's going around them, trying to get us around, killing off a couple of links already. And, yeah, this is very interesting. A group of links for Rogue just marching across the map, and a group of links for Su just going across the map. A nice block on the ramp with those two queens. Needs to move his drones into safety. Might want to try to hold position them here. Oh boy, that's a lot of drones going down for Su. Su is trying his best to use his group of links to try and deny any reinforcements from coming in here. But his wall at the front door here is going to get broken at any time now. And there he goes. This is the big problem area. Rogue just having so many more links right now. And yeah, Su just making a couple too many workers and being punished quite heavily for it now. And ooh, I'm not sure if he has the units to truly keep fighting against his numbers. Alright, he's starting actually the melee upgrades. It feels like Su is confident that he should start having this. Ultimately, does he have the armor upgrade already? That would be crazy. I don't think he does. Maybe he does. I hope we're gonna get the upgrades. I think this is the upgrade screen, no? So he doesn't have it, which makes sense. Neither of these players yet having that Baneling Nest either. Imagine what one single Baneling would do in this situation. How incredibly good a Baneling would be. It's not the greatest attack here for Su. He is coming from a convex versus a concave. GG is called. And Rogue beating his opponent here. It's been a while since I've seen one of those EVCs. That was definitely interesting, especially because both of the players actually kind of going for the same strategy. Rogue just being a little bit, you know what, first of all he was being more greedy, having a couple more larvae to work with that third hatchery to begin with, and then going for the mass amount of links. You know what, if you start that third base that quickly, me personally, I would expect, in fact, a more of a greedy play, but instead, it did turn into the mass Zergling play. And it makes sense as well, I suppose. Just that is the best way to defend, right? To be aggressive. It was very unfortunate for Su as well to start moving across the map. And again, like if he did have himself a Baneling Nest there, that would have turned out very much differently. But unfortunately for him, he didn't get the memo in time. And things just didn't go his way because of that. Trying to do the same strategy but with less Zerglings. And taking fights that he should not have taken there a couple of times. Well, he was kind of forced to take them, so you know what, you can't blame him. Anyway, we're gonna have to see whether I was right if they are gonna send out Dongregul now versus Mr. Rogue himself. Dongregul already proven, I promise you guys, he's really good at CVC. And if he's sent out now and he loses, well then, I guess that's just another moment of me being wrong, but I'm willing to be wrong on this one. Because, I mean, it is Rogue after all, one of the best Zergs in the world, if not maybe potentially, you know, it's always been between him and Dark for the Korean side of the Zerg spectrum, right? So, pretty much in the top 2. And here we go, another game. We're gonna get it figured out. Is it, in fact, yes it is, Dongregul versus Rogue. There he is. The red Zerg player coming out for Busengai 2. An esteemed Bunbang. Relying on their heavy hitter Zerg player Rogue here. Let's see how they manage to do it this time around. Disco Bloodbath, a little bit easier for the Zergs, of course, to wall off their natural. So it's less likely we will be seeing those Zergling strategies on this map. Just because you know, it's a little bit easier to have some sort of a wall being built with Evo chambers and what you know, whatever you want as a Zerg player, honestly. Overlords again, marching across. Both teams keeping their Terrans in their pocket for now as well. Both Innovation and Fantasy still in this, so we're definitely going to be seeing some of them play. And it's not necessarily that we're going to see both of them play, but we are definitely going to see at least one of them. And here we have still the DRG, an absolute legends from the past in a way. I absolutely loved watching him play in the earlier days of StarCraft. Oak on the other hand, of course. I'm pretty sure he came from the Gaspa side of things, right? Pretty sure. Never watched that as much. The Star League. But, have to wait and see. Anyway. Hope I'm not wrong on that one. Anyhow, yeah, still things very similar here. This is kind of like how, you know, a sign of how figured out the meta is right here. Just because we're seeing both these players doing pretty much the exact identical thing here. It's, you know, just how it kind of goes with an RTS game. Of course, there are builds that can try to take advantage of these types of things, but right now, neither of them really trying to do that. Just playing it casual, playing for the longer game here. Also, both going for the Baneling Nest. So another sign that we won't be having that massive surge of links just suddenly marching across the map for either of these players. Rogue already having more drones than he had previously as well. I think he stopped somewhere on like 24, 26 links, drones the previous round. It wasn't that many, that is for sure. And there we have that wall off. Well, we were talking about 2 Evo chambers. No, a Baneling Nest and an Evo chamber. Third base is done. Both of them going for the lay attack as well. Not completely 100% sure what kind of technology they will bring out. Mutalisk, a very high possibility for at least one of these players. Both of them also getting the, the third and fourth gas. And actually, Dongrygo didn't have a second gas in his main base yet, so maybe a bit less likely for him to try and get those mutas out. Roach Warrens also being thrown down, a very important structure to have, especially if you're going to try a little bit more of a tech route as well behind it. Easier to keep yourself safe using those roaches instead of lings and banelings. Although DRG is going to go for the +1 melee attack and the +1 ranged attack coming out for Rogue. So there's the big difference here between these two players right now. DRG more heavily going to rely upon the Zerglings, and Rogue going to rely more so on the Roaches, it appears. And there we now see why DRG is going to throw down the Spire. So Muta Ling play will be his signature here. A style that we, have seen him play a lot of times back in the past as well. He's going to be able to thwart these Lings trying to get some damage done. That's a lot of roaches in the production tab though. 9 roaches were just being created here. I'm not completely convinced that it is going to be some sort of... Oh right, well there's a Nidus Worm. Okay, yeah, this might very well be a big attack for roaches. DRG is gonna have to make a lot of links to try and deal with this, or have a beautiful surround. Needs to... Oh, okay, well that could help too. He scouts out that there's roaches here. Oh no, he's letting a couple of links though kill off most of his links in that third base location, as he himself is trying to do the same thing, but there's roaches everywhere just helping out with these defenses here. More links for DRG coming in, trying to kill off a queen, installing that production for Rogue, but he is taking a couple of losses here. Alright, 6 drones still gonna be taken out here by DRG, but DRG's links are a lot more important than the links for Rogues are. Because, of course, Rogue is going to try to attempt to do a big attack with those roaches instead of the links, so... And DRG is going to need every single link to help out with this defense. Look at that, there's more roaches than there's links right now. Mutalisk coming in, but the Mutalisk are not that good against the roaches, of course. Needs to do... try and deal with these as quickly as possible. 3 spine crawlers at the natural, that is not too shabby. That's going to help out a bit, but he will definitely lose his third base because Rogue is targeting that one down. That's the one bit of damage that he can definitely get. And the Mutalisk numbers now finally looks like they are actually in a pretty solid state, where they will be able to deal with these roaches rather nicely. But then again, there's a second group of roaches coming in. That's so many Mutalisk though. Oh my dear lord. Spore crawlers being created by Rogue here. Oh, offensive spore crawlers gonna try and deal with those Mutalisk. What a crazy play is what we're watching here. Rogue coming forward, DRG in a lot of trouble, more losses being taken. The Mutalisk trying their best to clean up the roaches, but there's so many roaches and so many workers already going down. The Spore Crawler now in his natural base for DRG. It's not his, unfortunately for him. Alright, he's trying his best. 16 workers already being taken out. There's another Nidus Worm being created in the natural as well, as DRG is trying his best with his links to try and target down those Spore Crawlers, trying to assemble some sort of a nice force here again, but it looks like DRG is gonna have to tap out. GG is called. Well, snap. Alright. There goes that hype train. Alright, anyway. I mean, he almost had it. Oh, my dear lord. If he managed to grab those Nidus Worms, maybe, right? If he managed to stay on top of those Nidus Worms, keep killing them off before they actually rear their ugly mugs out of the ground, maybe something could have happened there, but unfortunately for him, it didn't. So the roaches were just there a lot earlier than he really wanted them to be. And, well, the one saving grace for the Mutalisk, that they can just keep shooting the roaches continuously as they're moving across the map. No longer really was a possibility there, so very unfortunate for him. But that means that we will be having Fantasy coming out now. Of course, we still have a revive after this as well. I believe this is another best of 7. If it isn't, well then, darn. It should be, definitely. Anyway, let's take a look at what will happen with Fantasy versus Rogue. Can Fantasy bring down another massive name in the Zerg arsenal? Or is he gonna falter this time? I'm curious to figure out if Rogue watched those games from last time around. And, well, we're gonna be able to see it. If Rogue is gonna be scouting around for a lot of proxy racks, then probably, yeah. Of course, we also saw the double starports play with the double battlecruisers from Fantasy. And getting a nice little attack with some marines and siege tanks to accompany it. But, yeah, we're gonna have to see what his plan will be this time around. We're on Triton as our first map. Fantasy versus Rogue. And Fantasy needs to bring another point up on the board to try and stop this monstrosity of Rogue. Already having taken out 2 of his team members. Su and Dong Raigu. First of all, of course, with a enormous flood of Lings versus the Ling flood of Su as well. It was like 2 tidal waves trying to crash into each other, but then, well, one was just bigger than the other one. May have had less support behind it, right? There was in the second another tidal wave behind that bigger tidal wave, but because that bigger tidal wave initially was that much bigger, he was able to just completely crush through his forces and then just steamroll onto Su's home shore. Some analogy going on here. An attempt at an analogy. Okay. Reaper quick expand. Normal hatch timing. Normal spawning pool timing. We can relax, guys. Nothing crazy. Look at how much Rogue is looking around as well. And he's going to the places that we actually did see Fantasy put down his barracks previous time around in this matchup last week. Oh, no, wait, 2 days ago. It was only 2 days ago. So yeah, it definitely looks like Rogue is paying attention for this as much as he can. He could have potentially maybe sent out a drone as well to scout, but not a lot of people do anyway, so just having his Overlord seeing if there's the proxy racks already a very, very solid way to scout here. And Fantasy himself, of course, neither really sending any SCV out to try and figure out if there's something coming his way. The Reaper, because of this, not going to be able to really march across the map, just afraid of any links running into his natural. He's going to have to stay there for a little bit. Up until he has that Hellion count up to, well, a reasonable number. And 2 is a reasonable number. Okay. More normal things happening here. The Reaper now feeling confident about, you know what? My command center has been finished off. I can start moving this out on the map now with this this Reaper piece. See if there is the 3rd base. There it is. Okay, that's always good to know for a Terran player. Now, you know, you don't have to quickly start making a ton of bunkers. And after scouting out 3rd base, here is the fusion core being thrown down. It's right in the middle of the map as well. It's going to be difficult for Rogue to scout this out. He's not getting himself the Overlord speed, so maybe he will later on though and still see this. But yeah, there's quite a few Marines already waiting here. Looking at that Overlord, they are aware that the Overlord is there, and he definitely wants to keep that Overlord out of his base as much as possible. Rogue though figures that he's more likely to get a good scout off if he does try to go through the middle here. But look at those numbers of Marines. Yeah, that's not somewhere where you can fly over. Even with speed, that would be difficult to truly get across. And seeing the tech lab starport though, without the tech lab really doing anything, already could be quite a nice sign for him. Or at least an indicator that there is the battlecruiser on the way. It has started his lay attack though. And here we go, a second starport as well, gonna be constructed. We're gonna be seeing the Yamato cannon as well, gonna be made pretty soon here. And there it is. Alright, so once again the double starport battlecruiser attack from Fantasy. Having enough marines now to truly deny any sort of mining. Of course, his front door is a little bit exposed, but that's why he is keeping those Hellions and the Reaper a little bit more at home, which, again, it might be a little bit of a sign, right? He's not out there, he's not trying to deny creep tumors, and that's because he doesn't have that much at home. He only has the battlecruiser in production, and that's going to take quite a while. Right, there he goes, flying off into the distance, into the sunset of the Zerg base. Well, flying might be the wrong word. Teleportation is, of course, the preferred way of getting around the map for any battlecruiser. But there's Sword Queens just waiting for him, making his life incredibly difficult, and it's not really finding any damage. I believe it got one drone kill so far, and that is, you know, that's not what you really want to have happen with battlecruisers here. Of course, 2 more battlecruisers on the way, and oh my dear lord, Rogue is prepping for this like no man ever has prepped for battlecruisers before. A Spire is on the way, and what's that, 3? No, it's 2 Spore Crawlers all next to each other being created here. Look at that, to try and keep his Spire safe, keep the battlecruisers away from that area. There's 3 Spore Crawlers in the neighborhood, another Spore Crawler on the right side, another Spore Crawler being created. Yeah, Rogue is not messing around against this. He's pretty aware of the games of last time around, so I'm pretty sure he is expecting that double battlecruiser play again here from Fantasy. And Fantasy, you know what, it's going to be very difficult for him to make this work still. Alright, he scans, he sees that there is in fact the spy attack on the way. Is he going to TP these battlecruisers over, or is he going to try and keep the teleportation ability for the retreat this time? Looks like he will just meet up in the middle. Try to TP out when there is trouble. There's 10 Corruptors in total. I think using the teleport defensively, definitely the right call from this moment on. But it's going to be very difficult for Fantasy to truly get something to work here still. He's not going to be able to do that much damage, and him trying to get that third base, probably the right call at this moment in time. But yeah, the 3 battlecruisers moving on the left side of the map here are going to be met by a lot of Corruptors. The Queen's a little bit out of position, but look at the amount of Spore Crawlers that are just in every single base. Looks like, you know what, I'd rather lose drones to making Spore Crawlers rather than losing drones to your battlecruiser shenanigans. And oh my dear lord, that is so many Corruptors. Okay, Yamato cannons being set off immediately, jumping out of there. So 3 Corruptor kills. And 2 more battlecruisers now available for Fantasy. Wants to try and repair this battlecruiser upwards again. Upwards to the green HP. There is the Marine tank follow-up. His Stimpack is incredibly delayed. He doesn't have combat shields yet, even though we're already at the 8-minute mark. Just a little bit past it, actually. +1/+1 for infantry, also quite delayed here. Just to try and get all those battlecruisers up and rolling. It is definitely going to be difficult for Fantasy to still make something happen here with those with the corruptive numbers on the field. And yeah, Rogue is just continuously keeping the corruptor count growing here as well. 9 more corruptors on the way. Might be overkilling it a little bit because Fantasy is, well, has stopped producing the battlecruisers now. And then again as well, his marine tank forces aren't that strong either right now at the moment, just because of the delay that was caused there. So overall, I would say Fantasy just a little bit behind in most respects now. It's very unfortunate, but Yeah, it's definitely not going as good as it went versus Dark the previous time around. There we go, killing off a single Overlord, losing 10 SCVs. What in the world? How did those 10 SCVs die? I think the Korean casters knew. They just, you know, refused to tell me. Something happened over there anyway. Nice little stim forward, getting the Queen. But with this amount of Corruptors, your Medivacks will never be safe. You're going to be recreating those Medivacks continuously throughout the game. And, well, if you're going to be making Medivacks, actually, you won't be making any sort of, whatchamacallit, Liberators. Which might be something he's going to need, because Rogue is going to go up to the Hive Tech here. I do believe that he did go for the melee upgrades here. Also, the +1 weapons for the air army, but that is a big attack coming in. Baneling's getting so close to those Marines. Trying to run away, but yeah, reasonable trade here for Rogue. Killing off all the siege tanks again and instantly remaxing as well. Fantasy not having his battlecruisers near there in that situation. Fantasy, though, going for a big drop. That's a nice little touch here. I don't know how he managed to get these units here, but you know what? I'm pretty sure he's glad he did manage to do that. Somehow, some way, finding a way past all the Spore Crawlers and all the Corruptors. Maybe Rogue not even expecting anything like that to occur anymore, just because of the amount of anti-air that he does have. You know what, it just feels like it would be suicide to even attempt something like that, but yeah, Fantasy still making it work. And now when he sees the Corruptors on the other side moving in with the right side, battlecruisers again. Killing off 2 Evo Chambers, that wouldn't be too bad actually. Gonna try to get that one, yeah, alright. Oh, Yamato Cannons. One battlecruiser does pay the piper. Getting killed off for that trouble. A little bit unfortunate, but there is in fact the Ultralisk Cavern. The Ultralisk Cavern, I'm pretty sure Fantasy is aware that something like this is on the way, but he's still grabbing, actually going for the drilling class here. Oh my dear lord, that is so incredible amount of banelings rolling through. And yeah, the siege tanks will not be enough to really deal with this right now. Needs to split his marines as well as possible. Oh my dear lord, that is getting close. Okay, he does manage to hold this off for now, losing 10 SCVs, losing his supply depot wall though in 2 locations, so completely supply blocked here. But there is a nice big triple medevac drop coming in on that 4th base location. Su still though on 4 bases himself. And splitting up that drop, 1 going into the main base, passing by 3 spores and 5 queens. 21 workers going down though. Oh my dear lord, Rogue on, you know what, Fantasy, he's doing amazingly with the tools that he still has, but this is looking more and more dire for him each passing moment. And surprisingly enough, he, you know what, he's staying pretty pretty on top of things, at least on the lost count overall, but because everything got so delayed with his battlecruisers, and the battlecruisers just never got himself a nice advantage here. He just he was just so far behind overall that Rogue can just afford to be less efficient trading wise. In come the battlecruisers again, gonna try to get some sort of damage on the marines being set up on this what is it, 7 base. Oh my dear lord, that is discouraging. And yeah, another drop being taken down. Nicely dropping a lot of marines though on top of those banelings, trying to keep some sort of sense of trading efficiently here. But yeah, Rogue still on 200 supply, and Fantasy is just slowly dripping lower and lower in that supply count. He's been on 2 base for quite a while now. It's been so incredibly difficult for him to get any sense of economy going, and he's gonna lose it one more time here. Yep, that base is definitely gonna go down. Or is it actually? Rogue maybe a little bit too cautious here. I think it was because he did see a drop coming in on that top right. So that is why he tried to move backwards before he took too much damage himself. I guess it's not that crucial for him to take out that base anyway. I mean, if he keeps Fantasy on 3 base, that's already good enough. But yeah, keeping Fantasy on 2 base, that's... oof. I mean, if he does manage to do that, then you know what? He probably should. More drones do go down, but yeah, it's gonna just instantly be reinforced by Rogue. Rogue is kind of toying with Fantasy now, it feels like. And, well... Friday seems very far away now. Fantasy managed to 4-0 against his Zerg opponents. It doesn't really feel anything like that anymore. And Rogue definitely was paying attention to those games and wasn't messing around at all. Didn't get caught off guard, and now just absolutely destroying, dismantling this build from Fantasy. The +3/+3 also gonna get cancelled. This has to be it. I cannot... assume Fantasy is still gonna attempt to keep going here, is he? Right, he is. Losing 28 workers. The Fantasy GG timing is a real thing, guys. And you know what? He is famous for it, so... You know, whatever floats his boat. This is... oh my dear lord. He's gonna lose another army here. I mean, it's not even the Ultralisks are out yet. Okay, there we go. GG. Fantasy. Oh, my dear lord. Unfortunately for him, getting absolutely annihilated there. Not bringing back the power that we saw last time around. But Rogue, yeah, Rogue doing an absolute miraculous job at killing off the economy for Fantasy, killing off the battlecruisers as well. He was not fooling around against those. Absolutely a beast of the highest caliber. Being able to you know what, pretty much lose one single drone against double battlecruiser production, I think, for a really long time. Then he's just had too many corruptors, he had too many spore crawlers, too many queens, really to do anything against for Fantasy. Fantasy, his other upgrades, all his economy was so incredibly delayed, and then afterwards it never really felt like a fair fight anymore at that point. So yeah, definitely well paid attention from Rogue, and yeah, sad day for Fantasy fans all around. But yeah, Rogue just you know what, 3-0 so far, killing off 3 opponents. And, well, I mean, luckily for the Busengai 2 group, they did beat True there for a moment as well. But Innovation is still waiting, still warming the bleachers here. Sitting on the bench and just being like, well, if you need me, I'm here. I'll be able to kill off a couple of guys as well, most likely, because I'm Innovation. But yeah, Su, Fantasy and Dongregoo have to figure out who they will revive in this case. Will it be Su, Fantasy or Dongregoo? It's gonna be a tough one. I would imagine it's going to be Su. Fantasy might be another option, but we're gonna see it right here. It is, in fact, oh my dear lord, it is DRG. It's DRG. Guys. Is this just because they feel like DRG has the highest possibility of taking out Rogue? Is that what's happening here? DRG... I mean, I know I was hyping up his CVZ, and I definitely believe his CVZ is really up there. It's incredible, but... Alright, we're just gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens here for him. Maybe not the choice that everyone was expecting to have happen. Or maybe I'm just confused about the rules again, because they're written in Korean. It could be too. Could be another reason. But yeah, DRG is going to be the opponent for Rogue now. As both these teams fighting for their chances in, well, for a spot for the finals. Dark already knocked out by the Busengai 2 crew. But the Steam Bunt Bang just, you know what, with Rogue, proving that he, you know, might not be a higher caliber, but definitely was paying attention. He was looking, and he figured it out. He found a way to beat Fantasy here. He found a way to beat Sue and DRG as well. Quite handedly too. And yeah, I'm just curious to see what we're gonna have around this time around. DRG already being beaten by Rogue once. That time around, it was of course on Disco Bloodbath for those people that weren't here yet. Disco Bloodbath, DRG tried to go for Ling Muta play. Getting a lot of Mutalisk, but yeah, Rogue just having the Nidus Worm out in time and getting a couple of roaches out. And the roaches right in front of DRG's base just managed to do more than enough damage. He actually even made Spore Crawlers outside of DRG's base and then moved them in the base of DRG to help out his roaches against those Mutalisk, because then the Mutalisk just have to target down those Spore Crawlers, because you cannot afford to just continuously hover over a Spore Crawler with your Mutalisk without taking it out. And yeah, that was just absolutely terrible for him. Maybe he had a chance if he did manage to take out the Nidus Worms before they ever hatched, but it wasn't meant to be in that situation. But it looks like Busen Guy 2 do have enough confidence in DRG to give him another shot at this. And maybe he will be able to turn it around the other way this time. Will he go for the same Ling Muta play though? It's kind of his staple play, I feel like. We're gonna have it known after we see the Evo Chamber either going for the melee or for the ranged upgrade here. Roach Warren coming down for Rogue. DRG still skipping his own Roach Warren, not that committed to it. That's a lot of links coming on the production tab actually for Rogue. Rogue seeing that there's not a full wall off here. Maybe that is why he wants to start making a lot of links and just running through there. DRG, he does have a Baneling Nest. I'm not sure if he has any Banelings though yet in... Okay, he's producing one Baneling here. Another drone is ready to try and get something done here, but that's a lot of links rolling through. Actually, that's not all the links yet. That's just a small fake amount of links. That's just there too. Oh my god, a nice Baneling connection here. Already kind of... you know what? Breaking the back of DRG before he actually comes in with this enormous attack of Baneling here. DRG, luckily for him, is making a lot more Banelings right now. I'm not sure if he even saw those links moving across the map here. They're still going unnoticed as DRG is trying to get his lay attack. He's trying to get a Roach Warren up. He's not making any more Banelings. 6 Banelings now in production. Okay, he is fully aware of what's happening here now. Oh, that's a lot of Banelings for... No, Rogue is coming in. They are gonna connect onto... Oh, my dear lord. Please be careful, DRG. You are almost gonna die. Oh, a little bit of a lag spike there. I'm sorry, guys. And, well, I mean, DRG is still holding on. He's, you know what, he still has a good amount of links here. The Queens are standing strong. It looks like DRG may be able to stand his ground for now, as Rogue is, he hasn't really killed off any drones yet. He's not been able to do devastating amounts of damage, and DRG, now fully aware, is going to be able to keep producing those links, keep producing those Banelings. Also, this time around, he is going to go for the Roaches with the plus melee, or, well, not in production here. The plus ranged attack is... And more Banelings for DRG, getting reasonable connections as well. DRG needs to be careful for those hatching Banelings, more Banelings coming in. And another good connection there for DRG, actually. DRG really showcasing some amazing Baneling play, but it's not over yet, guys. There's so many more links and Banelings actually still on the field. DRG maybe feeling like it might have been over a little bit here, trying to start his Roach production and going around for a flanking attack with his own links. He now sees that there's not that many workers on that third base for Rogue. Still ahead with 11 workers, and now more links for DRG are making life difficult for Rogue in that natural. He's going to kill off the Queen as well, and GG is called. DRG holds, and there we have it, guys. What a game. DRG managing to strike back. It's not over yet. DRG keeps his team alive in the ZVZ matchup, beating Rogue. And you know what? I always knew he had it in himself. The ARG, just like I said, I promise you guys, he has an amazing ZVZ. The problem now is, though, that he still has to kill Innovation, and then he's gonna have to kill whoever gets revived in the last round as well. And then maybe some other stuff too, but we'll see if it ends there or not. Okay. So yeah, Innovation versus Dongregoo, two old-timers playing against one another, old school players. I'm curious to see what will happen between these two. Can Innovation beat back Dongregoo? Dongregoo, I'm not, you know, I'm not sure what his CVT is like at the moment. We're gonna have to wait and see. Alright. Alright. I'm just waiting. I'm just stoked now. I'm just hoping we're gonna get this started as quickly as possible. That would be the dream here. Which is why I don't have anything else to say. Innovations versus Dongregoo coming up, guys. Making it awkward as possible. Anyway, it looks like the Korean casters are still kind of mitigating about what happened there. Definitely Dongregoo just having, you know what, stellar Baneling control. Just barely keeping everything alive, keeping those queens transfusing each other. Then the roaches coming in just the right amount of time. Honestly, for a moment there, I thought he was going to die still, because of the amount of links that were available for Rogue, and surrounding those initial roaches. That's always a very troubling thought. After, you know what, you lose those first couple of roaches, you might not be able to get that real clump of roaches that you need, so that the surface area becomes very difficult for links to deal with. Anyway, here we go. Finally, we are getting things started. Innovation versus DRG. Can Innovation shut down the Zerg menace that is DRG? And he's going to attempt to do so with two SCVs marching across the map. And, well, if you're new to StarCraft 2, this is not, in fact, a worker rush. This is, in fact, a proxy barracks, as they call it. Imagine worker rushing with two workers to a Zerg. I mean, it's not going to end well. Don't ever do that. Do not attempt it. It's not a real strategy. It's just me being a little bit silly. Anyway, double proxy racks is going to be the choice of action here for Innovation. He's going to put them down here on the right side. Nice location. It isn't going to get scouted by DRG's overlords. But DRG, though, oh my dear lord, he's going to go for a spawning pool before hatch. And you know what? Both these players maybe feeling that they need to cheese out their opponents. Innovation, because he doesn't like playing against Zergs, maybe, potentially. I'm not completely sure, actually. I know he doesn't feel too comfortable in the TVP matchup, but the TVC, I'm not sure if he does either. There's not much left anyway if he doesn't feel comfortable with that one either. But yeah, alright, here it is. Anyway, that's definitely a build order win here for DRG so far. He sees the SCV coming from a weird angle, so he's going to have to send his Overlord towards this location. And yeah, he's going to see the second SCV right now. He's going to be able to send his Zerglings immediately upon those SCVs, attempting to build a bunker here. Is he going to pull workers too? I'm not even sure if he has to, but yes, he is. Alright, already having these two links here with the drones is a big win for him, of course. Making a spine crawler even, not messing around. Of course, he isn't aware if this is a triple Rex or a double Rex yet. And now 4 links available here for DRG, more on the way. He's gonna wait for more or reinforcements to get ready, and 2 links. Oh, that is so nice. Killing off a Marine there without the Marine even shooting a single time. There it is. The Queen coming down from the high ground is gonna pull more workers, killing off the SCV, building the bunker, and that is going to be the end for that. The double proxy racks. He is transitioning into double Reaper, though. That's quite an unorthodox way to try and deal with this now. Nice follow-up, I suppose. Just not sure how much he's actually going to be able to do. There is no Queen in the main base, so that is definitely a good, nice way to try and get something done with the 2 Reapers. But the Queen already rotating around here is going to be able to catch them. And yeah, both players now realizing that these rushes kind of cancelled each other out in a little bit. And with transitioning into what is looking like a macro game after this. Innovation still trying to make something happen with those Reaper numbers, but just it's going to be very difficult with a Spinecrawler at the natural and 2 Queens at the main base. Although 4 Reapers definitely quite strong, might be able to still get something done. There's no creep in between these bases yet, but DRG already figuring this out and realizing he needs to get those 2 bases connected to allow his Queens to move back and forth. Alright, yeah, that is going to be the end of these Reapers. If they do try to jump up here, nope, that is a big deny. Doesn't lose any of them though, which is nice. Nice little bit of control. But as we can see, 30 workers versus 23. Innovation definitely not in the best of spots here. Having to fly both of his barracks back over again to the other side of the map. And it's going to be very slow with that production. Might try to go for another command center here. Going for the double expand is very common for these Terran players. After not really successfully killing off their opponents with a proxy Rax. It is the most common plan B. Trying to get a block off with that Ling, unfortunately for him not being able to do so. But a nice scout nonetheless. Coming into the base and seeing absolutely everything. Seeing that 3rd base as well being constructed. And that might be a sign for DRG to ramp up the aggression. Let's see, he has got the Baneling Nest on the way already. But we are not seeing that many Zerglings yet in production. He's just going to keep droning casually. I suppose that's the other thing you can do, of course. If you know that your opponent is going to go for that quick 3rd base as the Terran player, it's going to take quite a while before he's going to be able to really come across with something extremely scary. So you're pretty much free to drone up a little bit more so than you would be otherwise. These Lings getting caught out of position though, so there's reasonable little trade for Innovation, but yeah, isn't really going to find too much damage here, I would imagine, against 3 Queens and a Spinecrawler there on the other ramp. I like how Innovation is trying to keep his Reapers in front. Of course, the Reapers do regenerate that health. The Hellions do have to be repaired, but yeah, of course, a little bit harder to do across the map here. 4 Queens already spotting this medevac. Absolutely beautifully done, and that is not going to be able to land, is it? One more shot required, and there's another Queen just waiting for it. Hello, sir. I am the home Queen. This is my turf, and you're not allowed in my vicinity. Very well done there by DRG. It's a shame that the Queen only is allowed to have 1 kill on her tab there for killing of medevac and 4 Hellions which are inside of it, but oh well, that's just the way that it works. DRG gonna be able to block off this landing of the command center here for a little bit as well. It is a tiny thing, but it's still a very nice thing. It's still, look at that delay here. Another thing that Innovation is just gonna have to deal with. It doesn't look like he's either aware or really trying to deal with it. Okay, now he is. He's sending a couple of units back to that location. This Liberator here is going to be able to do, well, quite a bit as well, denying the mining here for quite some time. 4th base for DRG might be in some trouble. Not sure if he's going to keep that alive now. Does go for the cancel before it finishes. Is he just going to create it on the right side here? In the top right, that would be quite ballsy. Yes, he is. Alright, no time wasted by DRG. He has a lot of Banelings here, a lot of Zerglings as well. Doesn't want to try commit to this off of creep, I would imagine. But he's going to go for it anyway. That's so many Links going for the surround. The Banelings blowing up right on top of all the Hellbats. And no split was available, so definitely going for the right call there. His Lings beautifully staying out of range of those Hellbats, and then just the Banelings collapsing on top of that force. Now this amount of Lings is definitely going to be quite troublesome for Mr. Innovation to deal with. Innovation does have a good amount of Marines that are beautifully positioned and are going to be able to take away a lot of these Lings, but oh my dear lord, it's not enough. It's just not enough. Innovation has to let go this 3rd base location. Might have been able to evacuate a couple of those SCVs, but 8 of them going down here, and DRG is like, alright, well, I mean, You do not have pretty much anything right now. I'm just gonna go for it. A big Baneling bust is going to be the choice of action here. And, well, it would be absolutely horrible for Innovation if he does try to move out now at this time. He is actually gonna try to do that exact same thing. And DRG going for blowing up the engineering base, actually. Alright, I mean, I kind of like it, honestly. He's so far ahead economically that I think, you know what, he can invest a little, you know what, all those Banelings in the engineering base. Especially because he's going to have +2/+2 for a really long time before Innovation even has +1/+1. So, you know what, I think that may have been a really smart choice, actually, to try and kill off those engineering base. I thought he was just going to blow up the supply depots and then roll into town right on top of those SCVs that were waiting. But maybe because he saw the siege tank firing from the high ground, maybe that was the moment where he decided, you know what, I need to do damage with these right here, right now. I don't want to take more tank volleys. Maybe that was the reasoning. But yeah, very well done there by DRG. Still increasing that already incredible upgrade advantage. As he is adding Mutalisk into the fold now as well. Drilling class on the way for Mr. Innovation. It might be a good choice of action, actually, if he does manage to get a couple of those units out. The Widow Mines may be able to get some good connections and keep himself in this game for a little while longer. But, oh my dear lord. This is looking quite menacingly. These Mutalisk numbers and these circling numbers absolutely everywhere. Look at that force, already incredible amounts here. Is going to try his best to deny that fourth base from being flying over here, but ooh, the Banelings and the Zerglings coming through. The Zerglings right on top of the siege tanks. Nice control with those Banelings. Look at the split on those Banelings as well. I don't know how you do that, but it's going to be very difficult for the siege tanks to hit up any of those. And now the Mutalisk having free reign. GG is called. And that is going to be DRG again. Another victory. Oh, why is this not working? Hello?
Nuclear missile ready.
There we go. I don't know. Interfaces were doing a little bit difficult there. Anyway, DRG fighting off against Rogue and then fighting off against Innovation. Who would have thought DRG bringing it back to a tied up series? Will he be able to now to defeat whoever gets revived? And that is going to be a difficult choice. Look at that. TY is absolutely loving this one as well. Take a look at his face. Take a look at his face. He's enjoying himself a little bit too much, seeing his Terran brother get absolutely annihilated like that. I mean, that was something else. It's really nice to see DRG performing so well again now. It's really a joy seeing him back in the scene and with a high performance standard. Alright, anyway, we're gonna be seeing DRG fight off against another opponent. Is it going to be Rogue? I'm guessing it's going to be Rogue so far. Rogue being the one person that did bring down DRG one time already. Is he going to be able to do it another time? Then again, he lost against DRG as well, guys. He wasn't as good with the Ling Baneling Micro as DRG was. At least that time around. Maybe this time around it's going to be a lucky break for Rogue if he does try to do that at one again. But yeah, it's it's gonna be a tight one. I have no idea who you would send out here. Maybe another time Innovation, because Innovation was very unlucky, of course, having a a spawning pool first against his proxy 2 Rex. I mean, it doesn't happen that often, and that was basically right from the get-go a build order win for DRG. Innovation trying to hold on there for a long time, but DRG is so much fun watching him play. It's refreshing seeing this Ling Bane Muta style that much being used by one of these players. Especially after grabbing those upgrade advantages as well. Absolutely beautifully done by DRG once again. You know what? maybe the guy that we didn't expect between Su and Fantasy to be revived, but definitely showing now that he was worthy of that revive. Definitely the right choice in this time around. There's no other way to describe it. It looks like the steamed Bun Bang now sitting on some on some pain because they need to wait to see. Well, we need to wait to see what they bring out next now. Who gets revived? Is it going to be Rogue, Innovation, or True? It could be True, but then again, I would imagine it being Rogue or Innovation. No offense to True, but I mean, if you have Rogue and Innovation in your team, you might as well make use of them, in my opinion. At least I would appreciate it. I wouldn't mind seeing them play a little bit more. Oh, here we go. Here we go. They've decided, guys. Game number 7. It is once again Innovation versus DRG. In the top left, we have the blue Terran player Innovation fighting for the steamed Bun Bang, and DRG here with a, you know what, a marvelous win streak so far. 2 wins in his pocket. The red Zerg fighting for the Busen Guy 2 Assembly Force. The Busen Guy 2 Assembly Force. They are looking, well, he is looking quite strong right now at this time. He's doing it again, guys. A 16 pool being thrown down onto the floor, onto the ground. This time, though, not being met by the Proxy 2 Rex. Isn't gonna work out as well as it did the previous time around, but still, of course, can do quite a bit of damage here. If he does go for a couple of links and try to get that denial on that command center on the low ground, which is looking very, very likely for Innovation to do. Whoever wins this game will be able to be victorious in this best of 7. Okay, spawning pool has been created. As a gas as well already being made here. There is the command center on the low ground. Of course, as always, there's well, one SCV scout in the middle of the map now. Is he going to be able to see those 2 Zerglings? Oh boy, it looks like he will be able to see it. Yeah, they definitely see each other. It is only 2 Zerglings though. Normally you would definitely see about like 6 links being created here for the Zerg player after going the 16 pool. This time around though, just going for the 2. And he's just looking around trying to figure out if there is in fact the Proxy Rex. So it looks like already we are seeing a little bit of a switch up here of how these Zerg players, or at least how DRG is playing this matchup. He doesn't want to get Proxy Rex, so he's just going to go for a quick pool, playing it very safe here, going for 2 links, and then after he's certain that there's no Proxy Rex on the map, he's just going to throw down a quick 3rd base regardless. The benefit of this, I suppose, is it does keep that Reaper in the main base for Innovation for a little bit longer, because he has to, right? If there are the 6 normal links, then definitely wants to pay attention to that. But yeah, very, very interesting. Queen here for DRG already. Hello! You're not coming in here, buddy. Giving Innovation some difficulty getting a good read on his opponent's style here. The normal expansion location though on the top there still has to be scouted out by this Reaper. Right, there he goes. That is the most common place for a Zerg to expand right now. It's also the best place because it is so much easier, especially I suppose if you are gonna go for the Ling Baneling style, which most likely will be the case with DRG. That's the place you want to be having your expansions at, just because it's so open and it's so easy to just get surrounds rolling into your opponent that way. It's a very nice area to have creeped up as well, so you can get around the slow zone very efficiently. Alright, the Reaper going for one final scout here. The Sacrificial Reaper gonna try figure out what is happening. Doesn't see anything too crazy, just sees a lot of drones. He's seen the 3rd base, so he should be completely aware of what is happening here. Going for his own 3rd base in response of this. And that's probably the right choice here. Not a real way for Innovation to start punishing this now. No real openings being created by DRG so far. As DRG already going up to that lay attack once more. A nice Viking being the nuisance of the day. As the Hellions are capable of killing off some creep tumors here and there. So Innovation staying, you know, showcasing his multitasking here. Ensuring that he gets as much done as possible. With this small mobile force. Still looking for overlords. There's no more overlords anywhere on the map. Actually, all of them are now above the creep where those queens are able to kind of help them out. Look at that, but another one might actually go down here. Innovation. Oh yeah, those queens are going to have a rough time going through the slow zone. No, okay. Innovation going to let this one off the hook for now. He's landed the Viking? What? Why would he land Viking there? Did he kill a drone? I don't even know. Alright, anyway. Spire is on the way. Bailing Speed on the way as well. The third base for Innovation now finally flying over as DRG is already getting his fourth base on the way. 2 Evo Chambers as well. This time around, +1/+1 will finish sooner for Innovation, of course, than it will for DRG. And yeah, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but definitely, again, we're seeing the bio style from Innovation. Definitely preferring that one, it would appear so. This Marine and Siege Tank kind of playstyle here. As we're waiting, he still has so many Hellions as well. Never went for the sacrificial attack with those Hellions. And now because he still has them around. Oh my dear lord. Oh no, this is so bad. That Siege Tank completely caught out of position here. The Hellions nowhere near to help out with the defenses. And this is a perfectly timed Ling run by actually from DRG. Realizing, I don't even know if he realized. Maybe that was just a little bit of a lucky timing. But yeah, beautifully done there. Killing off a Siege Tank and killing off this push from Innovation before it even got close to trying to do anything there. It was just centimeters outside of the Terran base and immediately just being punished, being slapped down. Just DRG like, what are you even trying to do? Can't you see this is just incredibly stupid what you're trying to do? Slapping him down with the Fist of Vengeance. Has to pick up here. So, well, it's a good position for the Siege Tanks, but with already the Mutalisks out, that is more than enough for DRG to clean this up. Maybe not as efficiently as he wanted it to be, but still though, getting very traits that he would take every day, every single time around. Without question asked. And that was with Innovation having +1/+1 and DRG not having +1/+1 yet as well. Now, let's take a look. I mean, the +2/+2 is on the way, which is nice for Innovation, but it's still quite a way off. So another timing attack is gonna, you know what, have to come in the form of anything else here. Oh my dear lord, are you kidding me? How are you so good, DRG? I don't know if this is just luck or if this is him just being absolutely everywhere, because you know what, he's just getting everything as it's trying to even get close outside of the base here for Innovation. It just immediately gets spotted. Again, here, once more, the medevac trying to go through the top right now. But, again, it's spotted. There's some stuff there. Maybe DRG didn't see it this time around, though. Okay, finally, Innovation is going to be able to get some sort of presence outside of his base. And does look like he does have enough forces to kind of beat back the Zerg onslaught for now. Widow Mines are strong. Well, trying to get back into the slow zone here. For a moment, I thought he would have enough, but apparently, you know what? Oh, the Widow Mines need to be good. They are pretty good. There's still a couple of... There's actually a lot of Mutalisk here. But it's not going to be enough to really kill off the Thor and that amount of Marines. The Widowmine drop finally finding its way into some place where it can do damage. And it doesn't really do damage, unfortunately. Killing off a couple of Lings, killing off a Queen. I mean, it got a good shot on those Lings, I'll be honest. That was not too shabby, but like you want to kill off the drones in this situation. The Lings are quite easily just remade, and especially with that the Spore Crawler there already as well, being very easy for DRG to just kind of jump on top of it. Oh wait, Drilling Claws wasn't done yet, so even without that one already would have been incredibly easy. Alright, so Innovation does have a short brief moment where he has +2/+2 versus +1/+1. It's going to be very short, but his +3/+3 might have a little bit of a longer period of time where he has that advantage as the Hive Tech. Although the Hive Tech, look at the timing of that Hive Tech lining up with his +2/+2. He's going to be able to just completely continue on with his upgrade progression here. And there we go, yep, pretty much spot on at the same time. You see them disappearing. That's absolutely wonderful. Alright, the Nidus Worm now being created, the Ultralisk Cavern as well. And DRG is just, you know what, he is showcasing some amazing plays so far. He's coming in again, Mutalisk magic boxing right on top of the Thor. There's a lot of Widowmines though. Oh my dear lord, did they all get taken out by the Mutalisk before they even got to shoot? My dear lord. Alright, I mean, that's a dead base. Innovation back on 3 base economy against his Zerg opponent, which is right now on 5 bases. And DRG just looks like he's toying with his food right now. There's children in Africa that cannot play StarCraft 2, DRG. You have to take this seriously, man. Not sure if that's an appropriate thing to say. Anyway, another Nidus Worm in the main base here. It's gonna force Innovation back on his side of the map. And these Mutalisks just being an absolute pain so far. Killing off reactors, killing off missile turrets, tech labs, everything burning to the ground here. And being able to grant vision for those Nidus Worms that, you know, pop out with their heads from the ground here. It's like calling in an artillery strike, but then it's in Nidus strike. Calling in the Nidus artillery. Okay, +3/+3 for DRG has been delayed for quite a while here, actually. Even though it got timed up very nicely, it did take him a while before he actually did start it up. So maybe that's the one salvation here for Innovation. But Innovation, again, these Mutalisks coming into the weak points right on top of all the production, killing off more of those add-ons for the production for Innovation. And then, you know what, that is going to slump down his production so much now. And he's, you know what, he doesn't have an answer for it. He just doesn't still have pretty much anything. Look at this. These Mutalisks continuously finding so much damage. Roaming around the map. And, well, there is a Widowmine immediately taken down. Nope. Nope, says DRG. That is not going to be enough. I know what I can do with these forces. Look at that. Those... My dear lord, it's just going to be impossible for Innovation to make any new Widowmines. Just continuously targeting down those tech labs and well, the tech lab and the reactor. I'm not even sure if he finished off drilling claws here. I mean, if he hasn't, I mean, that's going to be absolutely devastating. Ultralisk now on the map as well. So, I mean, Innovation still trying his best to create those Widowmines, but he's going to have to transition into the Liberators here, trying to chase down against these Mutalisks. A beautiful little bit of a bait here from DRG, and now he is rolling in with all those Banelings. Great splitting so far for Innovation. He is able to clean up the entirety of the ground forces, but a nice Baneling run by here in the 3rd base, and pretty much all those SCVs are going down. The Mutalisk now flying into the main base, into the natural, passing by the natural, killing off more of the economy for Innovation. And you know what, I wouldn't be surprised if this is starting to get as frustrating as you can get in the game of StarCraft 2 for Innovation. Even watching this, I'm getting frustrated for Innovation, honestly. But then again, thinking about how DRG is moving around with his Mutalisk, this is absolutely a joy to see, honestly. He's doing it absolutely wonderful. And even having a couple of changelings there in the main base, getting another Night as well. And you know what? Putting innovations, multitasking to the test here. More banelings. Kabloom, kabloom, kabloom. You wanted to have SCVs? Well, maybe next game, buddy. Because you're not going to have any of them this game around. These banelings now retreating as well, as there's just zerglings absolutely everywhere. Drilling class, okay, they did get created here. Reasonable connection, so he's just going to be able to clean up those links in his main base. But again, they're trading out so incredibly favorably here for DRG, killing off the reinforcing units even just before they're out on the map. And reasonable Widowmine all baneling connections here. The Ultralisk getting on top of those Marines, and that is going to be it. GG is called. DRG bringing it back. Getting an entirety of, that was 3 wins in a row, and bringing back the series after Steamed Bun Bang being on match point. DRG doing it, coming back with the old school style of a Muta Baneling Ling. And oh my dear lord, look at the joy on the faces of my Korean counterparts. Yeah, there we go. Look at them. They are so happy, and you know what? I am as well. That was absolutely amazing to see DRG making an amazing comeback here, and wow, that was insane. That was something else to behold. And oh my dear lord, they are still incredibly excited. So Innovation looking like he just didn't have any chance whatsoever against that Ling, Baneling, and Mutalisk control. DRG just all over him. Nothing Innovation could really do in that situation, and well, beautifully played continuously. Playing it so safe as well, going for that quicker spawning pool at the start against any type of proxy racks, so he's safe against that as well. It's incredibly smart. He is such a smart guy, Dongregoo. And it's just a joy seeing him performing this well again. And you know, it's always been a fan favorite and one of my favorite players to watch as well, especially back when I was still playing as Zerg. Maybe that's why I don't mind seeing Innovation going down like this as much. But yeah, definitely being just completely outskilled there. And Dongregoo, oh my dear lord. For a moment, I never expected Dongregoo to be revived to begin with. And now he's just killing 3 people. He just killed 3 people continuously, bringing back the entirety of the series. And I believe that is it, unless this is in fact a best of 9 in some way, where there's in fact 2 revives that are able to be used. I don't know. I mean, it is the semis after all, unfortunately. I am not completely sure. Is this going to be it? I think so. It may very well be. Look at those guys still squinting their eyes at whatever happened there, and then just being like, oh my god, as well afterwards. In complete shock and disarray here. I mean, that was something else. DRG making some beautiful plays, going for the Ling Muta play, some play that we're not seeing that much anymore recently, but you know, it's still doing it absolutely wonderfully, and just completely devastating multiple opponents. 2 times killing Innovation, killing Rogue as well in a ZVZ. And never again will I question the skill of Dongregoo. He is getting back up there, guys. He is definitely looking like a top-notch contender once again. There's no questions asked, honestly. Not a single one. Anyone that's still questioning Dongregoo, well then you can send them the replays of these maps, because that was absolutely insanity. Anyhow, let's see what will happen next time around. I'm pretty sure that means that the Busengai 2 people will be facing off against the Jin Air Yo team. So there are definitely still a big barrier, big mountain to climb for them next time around. The Jin Air Yo team, of course, consists out of Maru, Cure, and Creator. Very, very strong Terran players and a very tough Protoss player as well. Maybe the strongest Terran player in the world right now, of course, Maru. Although, you know what, I'm not completely sure if that is still the case continuously. Anyway, it looks like we are getting towards the end. Is there more? Is there another revive? For those who weren't watching the last time around, previously it was on the matches of Friday. I was under the impression that it was going to be another best of 5, and then suddenly we had another match. It just started as I was waiting for the stream to end. I already had said my goodbyes, I suppose, but yeah, I'm trying to avoid that situation. I'm assuming this is another best of 7, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong completely. Anyway, I'm gonna quickly mention, guys, over here. Actually, no, that is the wrong one. Did I not have that set up? Wait, hold up. I'll find it. I'll find it. 1 second. There is, of course, another tournament tonight. Let me open this one up. There it is. Alright. The transition has decided to give up on me, but oh well. Anyway, we still have the Ultimate Showdown as well this night. It will be Cham, Clem, Denver, and Euthermal fighting against one another. It will be 2 best of 5s. And afterwards we will have a best of 7. So Clem will be fighting against Euthermal first of all, then Cham versus Denver, and afterwards we will have those 2 victors fighting off against one another as well. That will happen tonight at about 5.5 hours away. So if you want to see some NA versus EU action as well, do definitely make sure to tune in then. We're gonna start off with a ZVZ, then a TVT, and then a big good old ZVT finals that is gonna last for, well, a best of 7. So do definitely make sure to check that one out, guys. It's gonna be a good one, I promise you. We have some amazing players lined up for you, and we're waiting now for these casters to kind of grow a tail on this story and finish today for the Destruction Team League, because you know what, that was amazing. I'm not sure if we want to see DRG fighting off against more opponents. I would just love for DRG to just make the entire comeback and for it to end there. But then again, maybe seeing DRG wreck another nerd, you know what, I wouldn't be opposed to that either, but I'm just afraid that that the story is gonna go the other way around all of a sudden. Oh, little smudge on the screen. Alright, I mean, we're still waiting a little bit here. So yeah, in 5 hours and 20 minutes actually now, we will have that other tournament starting, the Ultimate Showdown. It will be on the same channel as well, guys. Do definitely check it out. We have some amazing players lined up, as I said before. And let me think. We have one... Yeah, still one North American player, which is the Mexican Cham, I believe, right? Okay, here we go. Here's the results. I don't know why the transition is acting up this way. Maybe I just need to reload that transition. Nope, it's still acting up. It's still acting up. Anyway, alright, it doesn't matter. We have over here today's results of the playoff round 2. That means Sue, Fantasy, and DRG are gonna be moving onwards here. Who would have guessed? After seeing them go down 3-1, DRG bringing it back, getting 3 wins in a row here. And being an absolute beast. I'm not surprised they didn't send out Rogue again, because DRG's ZVZ is absolutely terrifying, especially for the Korean scene, of course. That Zergling Baneling micro of his is absolutely insane, and it might be because that's most of everything that he does. That's just what he's good at. But yeah, congratulations to those 3 players, very well deserved. And getting all the way in here. Here we go. This is the offline live. Here, this is where you need to be. If you are in Korea, you know what? Make sure to go over there and head on over to those studios. We will be looking at some amazing players. Maru, Cure, and Creator are going to be facing off against Sue Fantasy DRG. If you want to catch it live, do make sure to tune in next week. But do remember that we are starting 6 hours earlier than we do, we've done so far. So for the, I know the European time will be in fact at around 5 a.m. in the morning, so it's going to be difficult for you guys to catch it if you really want to catch it, but you probably just set your alarm clocks and right, I'm sure you will. That's what I will do for sure. And for the Koreans, I suppose it will be at around 1 p.m. Is that 1 p.m.? If they normally start at 7, it's 6 hours earlier. Yeah, that should be 1 p.m. You know what, let's go to this actually for a moment. There we go. So yeah, go check out those last matches. It will be on the next Sunday. And if you have Sunday church, don't worry, it's early enough for you so that you don't have to go to church yet. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. And there is the raffle again, I suppose. I'm not sure what this part of the show is. I wish I had one of these parts of the show as well. Wish I had those handsome Korean men next to me telling me what I'm doing wrong with the cast as well. That would be really good. But yeah, they're not here unless if I missed them. No, I haven't missed them. Unfortunately. They're just not here. But yeah, holy moly, guys, just thinking back, DRG, what a comeback. What a remarkable play from him, and what a surprise as well. The one player I didn't really expect to make the revive, or to get the revive, suddenly did get the revive, and just blowing everyone out of the waters. Let me first of all, before you guys go, and before I, try to keep talking until we do the final bow, thank you all for watching. Thank you for the Afrika team as well to help out with these team tournaments for the StarCraft 2 community. They are absolutely amazing. Thank you for Alpha X as well for getting me in these opportunities where I am capable of streaming and doing a lot of the StarCraft 2 events. I've been having an absolute blast. And I hope to do a lot more of it in the future as well. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Oh dear Lord, what is happening? They are yelling. I think they're bowing. They're not bowing. I'm not sure what they're doing. I think TY got confused as well. TY thought, okay, we're bowing. No, wait, they're saying something still. I'm glad I got confused as well. That was funny. But yeah, guys, definitely thank you so much for watching. I've been really Kozen. If you want to see more of me, I am mostly available on this channel right here. And as we said, we're going to have that other tournament in 15 minutes and 5 hours as well on the same channel right over here. And it's going to be glorious. It is going to be grand. I promise you that right now. It's going to be absolutely amazing no matter what and who gets the victory, because all those players are absolute beasts and already have proven themselves of delivering amazing matches. And you know what, we have 2 French people as well, so if you're French, you definitely want to check them out. Maybe French-Canadian too? Who knows? Anyway, this is where I would say, alright, goodbye. But I still want to wait for the nice outro, piggyback off the Korean outro, because it is so highly produced. And we might as well make use of it, even though it means that I'm just sitting here for a little bit, talking extreme nonsense, babooning myself through the rest of the show. Anyway. Is there anything else I could say? So I've thanked people. I've done everything. I promoted the other tournament. I made fun of the Koreans a little bit, you know, poking a couple of jokes at my Korean counterparts, who are, you know what, always just that much more handsome than I am. Because of those amazing suits that they get from their from their studio. I don't know why they are though on this weird truck where they're just on a truck that is driving either backwards or they are looking backwards, and they're, you know what, they're driving through this forest that is just on fire. I'm not completely sure why they are doing that. It seems, you know what, a bit counterintuitive to start burning down a forest just so you have a cool background for your StarCraft 2 tournament with global warming and everything going on. You know, you might be getting the wrong, giving the wrong impressions here, but yeah. And then to just drive through it, you know what, I'm glad they themselves haven't caught on fire yet. I wouldn't be surprised if that is going to happen at one point, but yeah, oh well. Oh well, it's up to them. Those Koreans, man, they are some artsy people. I'm looking for the loop of this video as well. Is it just the same tree that's coming back over and over again? Let's take a look. Let's take a look together. So there's that tree with the orange on the right. There's a different type of tree. That's a different tree. And there's the same tree again that we just were mentioning. No, actually, it's a different one. That is the tree. So there's 3 trees that keep repeating, I think. Whatever it is hypnotic to watch. It is very hypnotic to watch. I don't know how long they can keep talking here, actually. And I don't know what they're talking about. Are we talking about the game? Should I be talking about the games? I guess that's something I probably should have done a while ago. Instead of about a weird forest that's on fire. Anyway. Digital forest fire. Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected Fantasy again to make a comeback and just start wrecking fools. Just because of how well he did, you know what, 2 days ago. That's kind of why I expected his team to be like, you know what, you need to get back on that stage again. You've been tearing up some nerds here. Just go do it again. But maybe because he did get, you know what, he did have to showcase those strategies. And he did get a little bit figured out. Maybe that is why they decided to go for Dongregul instead. Maybe Dongregul just felt very confident here. It could be as well. I think that was the case. Right, if they keep going for another minute, I might just have to shut it down myself. Oh no, it looks like this is where he is saying goodbye. He's looking in the camera. He's talking about the game again. He's making a fist. He's talking to his co-hosts. Well, if he's looking in the camera, I feel like we're about to do the bow, but also TY's microphone is down here, so it looks like, you know, he's trying to make room to do a bow, but no, it's back up there again. It's like, do I say something? Do I say something or do I not say something? I don't know. I don't know. I could do. Nah. It's one Korean word I know. I'm not even sure if it's a word or if it's just a sound they make to kind of like an Anyway, yeah, what a series we had today. I don't know if you just got here, but yeah, I'm just I'm just waiting to piggyback off the ending of their stream, so we can have a nice fancy outro. It's worth it, I promise you. Although they are talking for a really long time. I don't know, are they just trying to fill up air? Did they promise a certain amount of airtime to Afrika TV? I don't know, we got 7 games. I mean, if they have to fill up this much airtime, I'm not sure if they made a right deal here. Somebody go over there and tell me what they are talking about. I want in on this conversation. It seems very interesting because they've been talking about it for a really long time. Anyway, yeah. The games. Let's talk about the games. First game, what was the first game again? We saw Su versus True. Su managing to take that one because he just had, well, first of all, he defended against True's attack, right? And then he just did remarkably well there. And he counter-attacks, he killed off a base of True that he put him also in the middle of Acropolis. And then from there, it was just him having a lot more Mutalisk than True had. Then the game afterwards, we had... Okay, we're bowing. Of course, just when I'm getting in the mood. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Have a good one. I love you. Bye-bye.